Today, Democrats on the Judiciary Committee are holding a hearing that's ostensibly about Supreme Court ethics reform. Really, Mr. President, it's just another chapter in Washington Democrats' 3-decade-long campaign to undermine the federal judiciary at any cost. There were the absurd smear campaigns aimed at jurists like Robert Bork and Janice Rogers Brown. There were the uncorroborated accusations held back for last-minute surprises against the nominations of Justice Thomas and Justice Kavanaugh. There was the silly attempt at a boycott by Democrats on the committee who didn't want to engage with Justice Barrett. Washington Democrats apparently find a textualist court that upholds our written Constitution to be a mighty, unappealing proposition. They've made that clear for 30-plus years. And in the last few years, the hostility has reached reckless new highs. A sitting senator stirring up crowds from the steps of the court, naming justices who would pay the price. Unhinged activists marching on justice family homes, publishing the locations of their children's schools, and fueling a frenzy that had one unstable person literally plotting to assassinate a member of the court. Attorney General Garland simply refusing to enforce clear federal law and stop illegal mob protests at judges' homes. Now we've got the next raft of silly personal attacks. This time, the left and some of their media allies want the American people to gasp in horror, that one Supreme Court justice vacations with his friends, that another one sold his house when he moved, and that Chief Justice Roberts' wife has a career outside the home. The Democrats even tried to pressure Chief Justice Roberts to trade the Supreme Court for their kangaroo court and show up in person today to hear them grandstand. A totally inappropriate request, as the Chief's polite and facts-based reply made clear. For goodness sake, we now have Senate Democrats openly threatening to defund the court's budget by the exact amount they need for security to protect the justices and their families. If the justices don't reorganize internal affairs the way some Democrats want. Every 5 minutes, the Democratic Party wants to give lectures about upholding our institutions and protecting democracy. But just as often, they find a way to undertake some new reckless attack against the courts and the rule of law. So look, I'm proud of how our nation's highest court has weathered these latest baseless attempts to attack its authority. I believe in the integrity and honesty of all 9 justices, all 9 of them. They should pay the partisan grandstanding no mind at all. Now, an entirely different matter. There was a remarkable exchange yesterday when a Russian reporter tried to put false words in Speaker McCarthy's mouth about alleged Republican opposition to helping Ukraine defeat Russian aggression. Well, the Speaker put him in his place and shut him down. He reminded everyone of his ongoing support of aid to Ukraine and of Republicans' commitment to help our friends win. Republicans are the party of American strength at home and abroad, and that includes standing up to would-be tyrants who are invading sovereign countries, killing innocent people, and putting the core national interests of the United States at risk. Equipping Ukraine to defend itself is a direct investment in America's own national security, our national security. As brave Ukrainians degrade the Russian military on the front lines, a major threat to Western security and economic prosperity gets weaker. In the meantime, our own defense capabilities are actually getting stronger. A large part of the security assistance appropriated for Ukraine actually funds the production of new cutting-edge capabilities for the U.S. military and supports good-paying jobs for skilled American workers right here at home. Unfortunately, it is the administration whose policies have been slow and halting. Since the beginning of Russia's escalation, the Biden administration has lagged several steps behind the pace of relevance in delivering decisive aid to Ukraine. Every approval of new assistance has required agonizing deliberations and prodding from congressional Republicans and Democrats alike. This was the case with the Stinger and Javelin systems the Ukrainians needed to drive back Russian convoys, and Polish fighter jets that stood waiting on the tarmac. With the HIMARS and Harpoons and Patriot systems they needed to put the invaders on their back foot, and the Abrams tanks they needed to support a counteroffensive. And now, with the cluster munitions, longer-range fires, and fourth-generation fighter jets our friends need to actually turn the tide. At every single mile marker, every one, the Biden administration has dithered unnecessarily. It's time for the president to get serious about victory and invest in American strength.